So, it looks like Satou Sabally has officially turned down the option to head to Chicago, guys. This story is getting crazy. Did you see what just happened? Satou Sabally didn't just turn down the Chicago sky, she flipped the entire WNBA on its head. Fans are losing it, experts are speechless. And teams are scrambling to figure out their next move. I believe what happened with the Chicago thing. Satou Sabally. Now, I'm not saying this is fact, but this is allegedly Satou Sabally turned it down. Hell, you'll better not send me to Chicago. I don't want to play with Angel. I want to play with Caitlin the GOAT. You might be thinking, oh, it's just another free agent drama. But hold up, this is way bigger. Sabally's move could create a super team with Caitlin Clark in Indiana or set up a future sister act in New York. We're talking league-changing decisions here, folks, and we've got the inside scoop on every mind-blowing detail. Can you believe what Satou Sabally just did? She didn't just turn down the Chicago sky, she set the whole WNBA on fire. Let's break down how it all started. Sabally drops the news she's done with Dallas. After 5 years, all no news broke yesterday when Satou Sabally let the world know she was not staying in Dallas. She wanted to get far, far away from the Dallas Wings now. That's what she's been for the past 5 seasons, and it has not been the best ride, but it definitely has not been completely horrible. Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's just another player leaving, but here's where it gets really interesting. Sabally is not just any player, she's a game changer, and now every team wants her. But wait, there's more. Sabally is not going to Chicago, and that's got everyone talking. You see, the Sky were supposed to be the frontrunners, but Sabally shut that down real quick, and it's not just us saying this. Annie Constable, one of the most trustworthy voices in WNBA journalism, confirmed it. Now, Annie dropped this about an hour ago, stating that the Sky are not in the running to land who? Satou Sabally in a sign-in trade. Multiple resources told me that, and more, in the top 10 FA list free agency list. Oh, now you're probably wondering, what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, this isn't just about Sabally saying no to Chicago. It's like she took a big red marker and crossed out the Sky's name from the list of top teams. Can you imagine how that feels for Sky fans? They're probably sitting their jaws on the floor, wondering what went wrong. But I've never said she was going there, bro. Like, John Liquidator never came on here and said, you know what? She's going to Chicago. I said they was possibly in the running, they was trying to make a shot at it, but I've never said definitively that's where she going. But here's where it gets really juicy. Sabally's rejection isn't just a thanks, but no thanks kind of thing. It's like she's holding up a mirror to the Sky, and what's reflecting back isn't pretty. The Sky have been struggling to land big-name free agents lately, and Sabally's decision is just putting a spotlight on that issue. The Sky are not the same as other franchises, which who the Indiana Fever, they can't lose and have a badly wide reputation. They need to go get the blockbuster. It trays the 2026 free agency in a winning position in order to prove the best free agencies that are not in a franchise worth signing. Think about it. If you're a top player in the league, you want to go somewhere you can win, right? Well, it looks like Sabally doesn't see that happening with the Sky. It's like she's saying, you guys need to step up your game if you want players like me. Ouch. And it's not just about this season. The Sky's future is looking a bit shaky right now. There's talk about a potential work stoppage in 2026, and with their track record of missing out on star players, you've got to wonder, can they turn things around? And he stated the Sky can't get a talented player at number 3. No question that player, however, is not going to impact winning in 1 year. For the 2025 season, they need players not that now that will put them in the winning position, which every team is trying to get put in a winning position. Now you might be thinking, okay, so Chicago's out. Where's Sabally going? Well, that's the $1 million question. There's buzz about the Indiana Fever, and let me tell you, if that happens, it could change everything. Imagine Sabally teaming up with Caitlin Clark. That's the kind of duo that could dominate the league for years. I've got Satou's stats up here, right here, 17.9 points a game and 6.5 rebounds. I mean, that's a real contributor. All right. Remember how we said Sabally and Clark could dominate? Well, that might just be the tip of the iceberg. What if I told you there's a scenario brewing in Indiana that could turn the Fever from underdogs to unstoppable overnight? The kicker, it all hinges on one crucial decision. Let's talk about the Indiana Fever. You might be thinking, Indiana, really? But here's where it gets really interesting. The Fever aren't just in the running for Sabally, they might be the frontrunners. And if that happens, oh boy, we're in for a treat, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for free agency. I'm able to talk to a lot of players outside to leave because I have not played on a different team yet, and I'm excited to get to know them more on a personal level, but also knowing how they approach the game, and I just love having basketball conversations and high-level IQ Conversations about the game to know where I will fit best in the future. Now picture this, Sabally and Caitlin Clark on the same team. It's like a basketball fan's dream come true, right? But it's not just about star power. These two could completely reshape the Fever's identity. We're talking about a team that's been in rebuild mode, focusing on young talent now. Add Sabally to that mix. That's not just a team. That's a powerhouse in the making. But hold on. It's not that simple. There's a twist that could change everything. See, Sabally's got options, and she's playing her cards close to her chest. Either have a chance. The reality of situation is that it's going to come down. It's going to come down to two teams. Realistically, it's going to be the Fever and Liberty. The Fever might look like the perfect fit, but remember, this is the WNBA. Nothing's ever set in stone until the ink is dry on that contract. Here's what's got everyone buzzing. Sabally and Clark together could be a game changer. We're talking about two players with high basketball IQs and skills that complement each other perfectly. Imagine the offensive firepower these two could bring to SO. If you like this video, then please like the video by making a nice comment and also subscribe to the channel. It's not just about scoring, it's about creating a whole new dynamic on the court. Only one destination for her, and that's playing with the GOAT. Yeah, I know who the damn GOAT is. Caitlin. Bro, she wanna play with Caitlin. Bad, real bad. And let's not forget about Clark. She's been called a walking economy for a reason. The fans. She brings the excitement she generates. That's not just good for the Fever, that's good for the entire league. Now pair that with Sabally skills. You're looking at a team that could dominate for years. But before you get too excited, there's another angle to consider. Sabally joining the Fever isn't just about basketball. It's about building a franchise. This move could make Indiana a hot spot for other free agents. Suddenly the Fever aren't just rebuilding, they're reloading. That's where she's going. I've been straight as an arrow ever since I've been covering her. She's going to the Fever. I ain't saying she's going to New York. I ain't saying none of this. She's going to the Fever. She's headed where? To Indiana now. You might be wondering, is this a done deal? Well, that's where it gets tricky. There's still another team that's not out of the picture yet, and Sabally. She's keeping everyone guessing. It's like she's holding all the cards in this high-stakes poker game, and we're all just waiting to see her hand somebody that could come in and take the place of somebody like Melissa Smith and make an impact. I think a lot of us believe that Smith should probably just go play with her girlfriend Dijon, a Carrington. Just when you thought the New York Liberty were out of the picture, they've got an ace up their sleeve. And it's not just any ace. It's a family affair that could change everything. Here's where things get really interesting. Did you know Sabally's got a sister? And guess where she plays? That's right, the Liberty. Now Sabally's been dropping hints about playing with her sister in the future, and when asked if she liked to play with her sister in the RSF, we said yes, of course, in the future. I would love that, which means, look, I think it's likely that Satou Sabally she's going to be playing for the New York Liberty next season. Can you imagine the dynamic duo they could become? But hold on, because there's a catch, and it's a big one. The Liberty might have to give up Leonie Phoebus to make this happen. Now, you're probably wondering, is Phoebus worth losing for Sabally? It's not an easy call. Phoebus has been a key player for the Liberty, and letting her go could seriously shake things up. Some teams couldn't redo it. Natasha Howard, but one thing is, according to Annie Constable, who is at this stage probably the only WNBA journalist that is actually giving an accurate information. The Sky are not in the running to sign a Satou Sabally, and with the Sky not being in the run to sign Satou, it means the Satou doesn't want to go there realistically, and the Sky have the best offer unless the Liberty are to offer Leonie Phoebus, which supposedly that is like what people think the Liberty are going to give up. Let's break it down. Phoebus brings a lot to the table. She's been a significant part of the Liberty's strategy, and her potential departure could leave a big hole in their roster. The Liberty's front office is sweating bullets over this decision. They're probably asking themselves, do we risk it all for a chance at Sabally? But here's where it gets even more interesting. Think about the successful sibling duos we've seen in the WNBA before. These pairs have shown us just how powerful family connections can be on the court. Now, imagine Sabally and her sister bringing that same energy to the Liberty. It could be game-changing. I still think that would be our preference, because New York is still New York. Yes, it's not the Indiana Fever, but it's still New York. She's playing with Sabrina. She has to play with her sister. She plays with Phoebus, who she plays for with the German national team, and it's as good as guaranteed a championship. The prospect of a Sabally sister act isn't just exciting for the team. It's something that could get fans buzzing, too. We've seen how sibling partnerships can enhance team dynamics and create a special kind of magic on the court. It's the kind of story that could have Liberty fans on the edge of their seats, waiting to see if it'll actually happen. Hey, dog, it's not too sadly. Let it be known she went out of Dallas, and she looked forward to playing with her sister in the future. Now, just like I told y'all on a video yesterday, the future means not as a right now being the present, the future mean later on down the line, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. This potential move is far from a done deal. The Liberty are in a tough spot. They've got to weigh the immediate impact of losing Phoebus against the long-term potential of landing Sabally. It's like they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And here's another thing to consider. What if this is all part of Sabally's master plan? Maybe she's thinking about the big picture, looking ahead to 2026 when she could potentially team up with her sister. It's a long game. But in the world of professional sports, sometimes you've got to think a few moves ahead. All right, are you ready for this? Because what I'm about to tell you might just blow your mind. You know how we've been talking about Sabally's next move? Well, it turns out there might be a lot more to this story than we thought. Here's the deal. Some insiders are saying Sabally could sign with the Indiana Fever, but get this, only for 1 year. There is always the risk that she will go to the Fever for a year, not re-sign in 2026, and then go to Liberty in 2026. I know you're probably thinking, why would she do that? Well, hold on to your hats, because this is where it gets really interesting. Apparently Sabally might be playing the long game here. She could be setting herself up for a big move in 2026, and where might she be headed? None other than the New York Liberty. That's right, the team her sister plays for. Can you imagine the impact of having both Sabally sisters on the same team? It would be absolutely huge. But here's where it gets even crazier. This move could set off a chain reaction that shakes up the entire WNBA. We're talking about a domino effect that could reshape the league for years to come. Just think about it. If Sabally hops from team to team like this, other players might start doing the same thing. It could completely change how teams build their rosters and how players approach their careers in this year's free agency. That I would say Satou is realistically the one game-changing player that is likely to be available on the move. Now you might be wondering, is this even allowed? Well, it turns out the WNBA's contract rules actually do allow for 1-year deals, so Sabally could totally pull this off if she wanted to. It's like she's found a loophole in the system, and she's using it to her advantage. And let's not forget about the Caitlin Clark factor in all of this. Clark's been called a walking economy because of how much attention and excitement she brings to the game. I think the WNBA narrative right now is Caitlin Clark, and I think that's a good narrative, but it's also not the only narrative. Caitlin is an amazing generational talent, and she's going to do amazing things. You're the #1 pick. People are going to go after you, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons, because they see greatness in you. And what the WNBA is measuring one type of greatness against the other greatness. There's just so much more to the WNBA than Caitlin, but Caitlin is the face right now. And that's also good. She's selling out gyms. Why would you hate against that? We had a sold-out home opener. I think it was a practice game, like it wasn't even serious. We benefited from that because now we have all our fans there, and they're excited, and you have new people coming into a market. She is her own economy, and that is amazing, and she's being paid her worth. And now we need to get other women on board to get paid their worth, because she's the reflection of what should happen in women's. If Sabally teams up with Clark, even for just 1 year, it could be absolutely explosive. We're talking about a duo that could dominate the league and bring in tons of new fans. Thanks you so much. Subscribe my channel.